Welcome back, interwebs. So today I am doing number 6 from my list, which is the healthcare system differences. So one of the more confusing challenges when moving to a foreign country is understanding how the health system works, especially when you're coming from the UK, where the NHS offers a fairly straightforward experience. Italy's public healthcare system is generally high quality. Navigating it as a foreigner can feel like stepping into a maze of bureaucracy, unfamiliar processes, and language barriers. So here in Italy, there's public and private healthcare, similar to, I guess, most Western countries. Italy has a dual system, so there's public healthcare and private healthcare providers like clinics and specialists. The public system is free or low cost to residents and provides access to GPs and specialists and hospitals, emergency care. It's well regarded and offers excellent care in many cases, especially for serious illnesses or hospital treatments. However, wait times for non-urgent treatments can be long, and access to English-speaking doctors may be very limited. The private healthcare system, on the other hand, is much faster and more flexible, with shorter waiting times and more options for English-speaking professionals. But it comes at a cost. Many expats opt for private healthcare for convenience, while still using public services for emergencies or major treatments. Registering with the healthcare system, if you're a resident in Italy, you'll need to register with the SSN. The process includes registering at your local ASL office, choosing a medico di base, general practitioner or GP, providing proof of residency, ID, and in some cases, employment or income. The paperwork can be slow and varies by region. Many ASL offices don't have English-speaking staff, which makes this part of the process especially stressful for newcomers. Thankfully for me, myself, I have an Italian girlfriend who has dealt with all of this for me. She also works for a UN agency here in Rome, so we have healthcare. So I can just go get private care myself. Finding English-speaking doctors, one of the most common issues that expats have here in Italy is finding a GP or a specialist who speaks English. While you're more likely to have more luck in major cities like Rome, Milan or Florence, it can be hit or miss, especially in smaller towns or rural areas. And some private clinics cater specifically to expats and tourists, offering services in English, but these often charge premium prices. Prescriptions and pharmacy. In Italy, you'll find the pharmacists play a much larger role than in the UK. They often give advice and recommend over-the-counter alternatives for major ailments without needing a GP appointment. However, understanding which medications are covered by the public system and which aren't can be very confusing at first. Emergency care. These services in Italy are generally reliable and fast. You've got to dial 112 for medical emergencies. Care in these situations is usually covered by the state, regardless of your registration status. And that said, if you're not registered with the SSN, you might receive a bill later, especially if you're relying on a visa or short-term stay. Mental health services. So this one I'll expand on, but from the off, mental health support exists in the public system, can be expensive and have limited availability. So to expand, digging deep into all of the points I've just covered there. So expanding on the mental health service one, for me, this is a major issue for me. Whereas before, when I was in the UK, I've not found it too hard to just go to my doctors, to a GP, and get we have the things like Samaritans, all different types of charities and such like that I could call at any time whenever I have mental issues or just need to talk to someone, really. So this is the problem I have here. I just don't have that at all. As I say, one of those points there was finding an English speaking doctor or just someone to talk to is a massive issue for me. And as I say, I'm just feeling so alone and lost in this country. I've tried numerous times to talk to my girlfriend, but I think she just thinks that my mental health problems and my severe depression that I'm going through is just like a cold, that it's just going to get better next week or something. But it's far from that. It's a lot more deeper than that. And there's no one, even if I tried to contact the British consulate, there probably isn't. They might be able to possibly give me details for someone, but as I say, also in the points, it would cost money. And considering I'm jobless and basically down to my last £2,000 to my name, paying for these things is just a headache. Whereas when I was in the UK, I don't recall the times when I've had to speak to. I think it was called talking therapies through my GP, through NHS. That was back in 2012, maybe 2013. Wasn't a problem. I just had a scheduled call with someone, and can't remember if it was an hour long, maybe an hour, and we just talked about things and talked about some kind of coping methods. Can't really entirely remember a lot of it, to be honest, because at the same time I was chronically dosed up on, what was it called, citalopram, I think it was, an antidepressant drug, which is basically like a very mild form of ecstasy. But yeah, for me it's a challenge. I don't have anything like that here in Italy. No one really that I can talk to, so I'm just locked in my brain 24/7, just trying to find a way to deal with things, which is a strain. Like, for instance, today, the example, I think, as I've said before in some of my other videos, I have a very challenging 6-year-old daughter, which I don't know whether or not she's got ADHD or autism or something, but she is mental. She's just driven me and my girlfriend to insanity today alone. I mean, at the moment now, it's the 1st of May, it's 6:30. I've literally had to shovel them into a car and take them to the park and get them out of my face because I was close to smashing something. I mean, I've dealt with it very well with my first daughter. Was perfectly fine. I didn't have any problems, as much as I was dealing with mental health problems because of the breakdown of the relationship with my first daughter's mother. Happy pills, basically. That was fine. I kind of got through that. I was weekend dad, and it was a blessing to see my daughter every weekend, and it was cool. I was enjoying being a dad. But second time round now, my newest daughter, she's just at times she's just unbearable and completely mental. Sometimes I know when she's tired late at night, it's like some kind of a chemical. I can't remember the science behind it, but she goes quite mad. Basically, when she's quite tired, she plays up a lot and she's going quite mad. But my recollection from my first daughter, whenever she was tired, she'd just curl up on the sofa and just go to sleep, no problem. Same even with my nephew as well, who I actually believed had ADHD or has ADHD, but as he's got older, he's kind of calmed and chilled out a bit. It was the same. If and whenever he was tired, he would just curl up and just go to sleep. But my Italian daughter, I mean, I call her my Italian daughter, she was actually born in London, but basically since the age of 6 months she's lived here in Rome, so to her she's just Italian. And, you know, as they say, Italians are all quite mad. So generally, she's all screaming, shouting, arguing, going mental as it is anyway. So that's basically what I have to deal with. I think I said in one of my other videos, I was always just a peaceful hippie dude, calm, peaceful hippie dude. I had an awakening early 2000s and just realised I was, you know, I'm not religious. I'm just a very spiritual person. I believe in energy and, you know, just hippie stuff, basically. Truth be known, I basically met my girlfriend through online dating from Match.com. And the thing that I wrote in my profile on there was that I was looking for a spiritual hippie mama, just a hippie, a cool, funky hippie chick that would just like to chill out in fields, go to festivals, and just someone who's just chilled and relaxed. But I mean, she was that majority of the time that we were together in London and in the UK. But the moment we've moved to here, to Italy, she is just flipped back to, I believe, back to her Roman state of just being absolutely crazy and mental. She's not a chilled or peaceful, calm person at all. Not good for me, my mental health. Constantly just, I mean, I know most women tend to be like that. No mean to be really sexist, but I mean, I say that, but my mum and my sister aren't necessarily, well, maybe if you were in a relationship with my mum and my sister, you might be like that, but to me, they've always been just quite chilled. My mum is just a sweet old lady who's just, you know, full of compassion for mostly everyone, with exception of probably immigrants at this moment in time in life. Both her and my dad, you know, stop the boats, blah, blah, blah. So again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying before about why I've ended up here in this country. I mean, my whole life growing up, I've never really seen any kind of racism from either of my parents. But the moment Brexit came around, all of a sudden it bubbled right to the top. And, you know, my dad's just being as racist as physically possible. I remember going to a birthday meal. I think it might even be my birthday. And he was talking, you know, some waiter or waitress came and took our order, and he said to her something like, "Oh, it's so nice to hear like an English voice for once. Always the Polish, always Poles, always these Polish." And I just sat there, just like said to my dad, "Dad, you do realise I'm in a relationship with an Italian, with, you know, a European?" But yeah, that's a whole other story. So yeah, the whole mental health thing of now I'm here in Italy surrounded by craziness, complete chaos, constant chaos. I mean, I've just heard a beeping now. There's probably someone parked across someone's car. It's pizza o'clock now. It's just coming up to 7 o'clock. So where the delivery drivers are parking across people's parking, you know, they just literally parked and then a car parks across the back of them. So you get all these beeps. I said this in another video, I won't repeat it. So yeah, that's what I have to deal with. I'm guaranteeing as soon as my girlfriend comes back from the park with my crazy ass daughter, it's just going to be screaming. It's just going to be constant. It's just pitch battles all the time. I don't get a moment of peace at all. It's just them two just screaming and shouting at each other and arguing and just going mental. And then I get my girlfriend just screaming and shouting at me, Jimmy. I have to go in there and try to sort of calm my daughter down and sit her down and chill her out, put the YouTube on, get her watching some videos and basically give her something to, you know, amuse her, because my missus just is incapable of doing anything like this. This is how it all ended this afternoon. I basically had to take my girlfriend basically just wanted to just lay on the sofa and just go to sleep. She went out kind of this morning with my daughter and went for an aperitivo at the cafe around the corner with someone from another block of flats with their daughter, and they came back and instantly it was just meltdowns. My daughter on the floor screaming and shouting because she wanted to go with Claudio, this other girl, and she was having a complete meltdown. Then my girlfriend's going completely mental. So in the end, it basically got to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and my girlfriend just wanted to pass out on the sofa. My daughter is not that type of person that's capable, as I say, of just passing out on a sofa. She was bouncing off the walls and basically just didn't want to be confined in here. She wanted to go out to the park. But also another problem, it's not one on my list, but I'm probably going to do a list after all of these top 10s to explain some other things of living in foreign countries. It's hot. I mean, it's 1st of May today and the sun is out. And to an English body like mine, outside right now, having just taken my daughter and my missus to the park in the car, this is English summer weather. It's scorchio out there. It's really hot. And it's only the 1st of May. Just wait until it becomes like July and August. I mean, I've just said now quickly, but it's going to be in another video. But my God, the heat. People just think, oh yeah, I'm gonna leave the UK. It's raining all the time. But once until you get to an actual a country that's just constant heat, you will actually start to. I find it really weird that I appreciate rain now. I can't wait for it to rain when I'm in England. It's just a weird sensation. I think I've actually dreamt about it raining before because it was just so hot. I can't deal with it. So anyway, they've gone out. They couldn't go out at 3 o'clock this afternoon because it was just too hot. So they were just confined to this, what I consider a prison cell of our apartment. I mean, most other people, today is basically the bank holiday, 1st of May bank holiday for the Italians, and majority of them all naffed off to their beach houses. So a majority of people are all in at the beach, at the seaside. We're still here in the city. There is still people about, obviously, but majority of people have all gone off. It's a massive long weekend and they've all gone to their beach houses. But sadly, my girlfriend decided that she was going to stay here, even though her mum and her dad have gone to the beach house. They asked her if they wanted to come, and my girlfriend's had this operation recently and said that she didn't want to go because her arm's in a sling with this foam plaster thing on it. So yeah, I ended up having to go and sort my daughter out, take her out to the balcony, get the paints out, start trying to do some painting, do stuff to keep her amused. But my girlfriend just does not have that at all. I mean, I said to her in a stressful way, I said to her, do your parents not ever sit you down and get you doing some painting, doing creative stuff? Did they just shout at you all the time? And that's the impression I got, is that her parents basically just used to stick her in a room, maybe stick her in front of the TV, and then if she's not doing that, then they're just screaming and shouting at her. She has no concept of parenting skills, of just sitting down and having the patience to cut a few things out, get her colouring some things in, doing stuff to keep her amused. Instead, she'd probably just give her the phone, and then as soon as she starts watching the phone, she becomes worse. It just triples the madness of my daughter. She sees all these crazy videos, and then she starts getting even more crazy. That then drives my girlfriend even more crazy, which then drives me even more crazy. So this is the predicament that I'm in. My mum and my sister just said to me, it's obvious that you're not happy there. Why don't you just come back to the UK? And I've said to them, well, it's nice that, but considering that my first relationship basically didn't work out, and I only got to see my first daughter every weekend. And the whole point of me having this second child was to have that feeling of actually being a family and giving my 2 cents of teaching my child to be a good, decent human being. So I want to be here. I want to be part of her life. I don't want to just go straight back to the UK. But then at the same time, it's not as simple as that. Even if I do go back to the UK, will I even find any work there? I see endless videos of people leaving the UK and bins overflowing and everything's all going mad and going crazy. But whenever I go back, in the brief times that I go back for like 2 or 3 weeks at a time, things to me are just perfect. I see no problems. I'm constantly writing on groups for my local area saying, what is everyone complaining about? You come and live in a country like Italy and you'll basically see, so many people are saying that England's a third world country now. I just find it ridiculous. You come and live here and see everywhere's just overgrown, weeds, dog shit everywhere, bins overflowing. The amount of immigrants over here compared to in England, my God, what are you English people even complaining about? You've got people here that literally live underneath motorway bridges. I've seen a few videos of it starting to happen in England, but it's not anything compared to as it is over here. So that's where I've gone severely off piste. Again, I suppose it is kind of relevant to the mental health aspect. So yeah, that was number 5, which is about medical services. So anyone that just thinks that you're just going to go off to Thailand or whatever, make sure that if you start feeling alone and claustrophobic and lost or whatever, you need to find some kind of mental health people to help you. That's it for now. Ciao.